Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube page. My name is BJ. A lot of people know me as the Tasman from many years now. So this YouTube channel is just going to be essentially about our desert dream, where we have moved out to the southeastern corner of Arizona, where we are in the high desert around 4,400 feet, just at the base of the Chiricahua Mountains that you see back there behind us. So we're real happy to have this property. This is going to be our first big endeavor. We have sold our houses, me and my father, and moved out of the state of Washington and back down here to Arizona, where I was born and where many of our family is from and still live today. And we decided to buy 40 acres and turn it into a homestead for ourselves, where we're hoping to live out the rest of our years. We're going to have a mother-in-law place where my parents will live at this time, and then a main house for me and my family. And we are also hoping in the very near future, potentially another home for my wife's parents that have decided maybe to be moving out this way. They live in Florida, and unfortunately right in Fort Myers, where a large hurricane, Hurricane Ian, just came and devastated the area. So they're thinking it might be time to go ahead and sell and move, even though Florida is a great place to be. So here, let me go through and kind of show you. This is the beginning. This is the first video, so I'm just going to kind of show everything. We've already done it and started some progress, but at least idea of what we're working with. So here it is. This is our plot. So things we have done is it was complete bare raw land when we got it. So we had to put in this strip, this concrete driveway skirt slip here, and I put the gate in myself. We are right on a highway. But as you can see, highway may not be the right word, but that is what this is. This is a paved county highway. We're fortunate to have this place. We have power right here at the street. We are also ever so fortunate that along this barbed wire fence, there is actually fiber optic high-speed internet. So this is great for my wife who works from home. So it's very, very remote. We're a ways away from anything. We're about 45 minutes from the nearest real town that has some services and things, which would be Wilcox, Arizona. I'll go ahead and share that. So here's the gate. I came down in March and put this gate in, and then we just permanently moved here in middle of September, and that's when we had the driveway poured and put in, and finally we're able to get through the barbed wire and gain access. I'll put up some videos of me clearing the land, but it was all the way up to this gate. I mean, there were mesquite trees all the way up to basically the street. They even had to tear a couple out to put in the driveway. So this was very, very untouched and bare land when we got it. And any and all improvements, including this pathway you see, was done by us. We've rented a mini excavator that we've been working with for about 3 weeks now, clearing all the area for our land. And if you look, you might be able to see my dad out there behind that brush pile running it now. We also have a company out here drilling our well. So we'll have water. I'll tell you more about that when I get out to that area, but I'm gonna give you a walkthrough what this looks like. So this gate is actually 200 feet onto our property, and this is a 40-acre square lot. So we have 1,400 and I think 50 feet, or somewhere around there, maybe it's 1,350 of highway frontage. And so it continues down that way another, I don't know, 1,200 feet or so of our property in that direction. So this is going to be our backyard looking up towards those mountains. You can see it's a beautiful day here. It's not windy. It's been so windy through most of this work, so I haven't been able to film this video until now just because of that. So here is the main road in, and we've already started clearing just off to this side of the road some, which is going to be the area for the house. So the first thing we did was just blaze this path with the mini excavator. You know, we'd never ran one of those ever before, so we're pretty happy to be doing such a good job and being as proficient as we are, considering we've never operated anything like that. So we got these large snag piles. It's actually a small one. Some are much bigger, like that big guy right there is a huge snag pile. This is going to be essentially where the house is. So the house will start somewhere right over here in this clearing. It will run at an angle in that direction and then straighten out and run that direction behind the snag pile over there. And that will be the house. And then this area here that we are still clearing, but it's about 95% cleared. This is going to be kind of the middle area. So this road will go, drive around this middle area in front of the house and be able to come back out this way. And this middle area is going to be pasture for chickens. We're gonna run our egg layers free range on it, and then also our meat birds. When we do those, we'll also chicken tractor on this area. This is also where the septic's gonna go. So grass is a great thing to put above the septic, and having pasture. You know, we're not gonna work tractors. I don't even have a tractor or anything, so it's not something that you know, I'll have to be concerned about. And having the pathway go around the septic field will ensure that we're never driving over it with anything heavier than possibly a quad at the most. You know, and the chicken tractors themselves, which won't be an issue. So the septic guys are real happy to hear it's going to be grass over it. So the pipes will come out of the house, across the driveway underground to the septic tank, and then the field will be all in this direction, all around there where we are still clearing. Sorry, tongue twister. So I'll come back around and out this way. I'm going to walk around this main road in, so that you get a good layout of the land here. So then there's the gate. I've walked in, I don't know, about 200 feet or so. So then coming around, you can see the area cleared. This is, again, that pasture, going to be that pasture area for chickens. The mesquite trees, man, I really like them, but they're just so stinking dense. Let me just take you off the path for a moment. You see, you know, we've done no clearing in here, and there's obviously some sort of a little game trail I'm following, but it's dense. You know, every couple feet or less, there's a bush. Even just this little guy right here is going to have a good sized root ball and taproot going down, and if you don't get that root ball out, it will just grow back. And so when we're clearing for like the septic field, or we're going to put the house and all that stuff, we've really got to dig down and get these roots out. But it's extraordinarily dense. As I walk through here, you can see just every couple feet you're having to dig and pull out a tree to do a good job clearing. So that's what we've done in there. You know, we don't worry too much about the grasses. That's not a problem. We just want to get the mesquite trees in themselves out. So coming in, here's a mesquite tree that's looking a little bare now, but I've left it because it's got nice big trunks on it. I'm hoping to water it and grow it into like a nice, really big mesquite tree. I really love the way those look. That's interesting. That was not here yesterday, and I'm not sure what that is. Honestly, that was not here yesterday, right in the middle of the road. All right, so more mesquite trees in that direction. When we initially blazed this road in, we got back to about in here, and I knew that I was past where the house would be. We cleared this spot right here and made it nice and flat and level, because this is where we were going to put our shipping container. We've got a 40-foot shipping container getting delivered later this month, sometime around Thanksgiving, hopefully, and that's where we were going to put it. We've since changed our mind on that, said this is a little bit further from the house than what we want it to be. The containers for materials for building the house, as well as just general storage and farm storage for us once that's done. So we decided to put a little closer to that area. But this right here, I started to clear thinking it was going to punch out towards our well, but then looking at my GPS, I realized that was not going toward the middle of the property, and I pivoted to go out that direction. You can see the well boom out there. That is the middle of our property, according to what it looks like on the GPS on my phone. So I put it right there, which is definitely different than most people. As you know, we want this property to grow. This is supposed to be a multi-generational homestead for us, and we're hoping that our children will stay on this property and use it, and generations beyond that. And so we wanted that room for growth. And with 40 acres, you know, we know that there was room that more houses could be built or spread out, or more pasture. The land could still get used. Me and my wife probably won't use it in our time, but down the road, more generations will. So we want to be ready for that. Also with that well, I'll talk more about the well when we're out there, but having it in the middle of the property will allow water to go anywhere. And we have done a well big enough that will support a minimum of up to 4 large households. So it's a very, very small commercial sized well, or extremely large residential well. So that's what we'll be allowed to do on it. And right here, we're thinking kind of just right here in this area, going straight down, is where we might put a home for my mother, or my mother and father-in-law coming up from Florida. So that'll be nice. This road will come in from the gate that's just back behind this snag pile right here. So the gate will come down. Actually, I guess it's behind this snag pile. There's the gate. It'll come down this road around, and they'll basically be home. This will be their house here, whether it's like a double wide that we have dropped off and put on a foundation and hooked up to all the services we have here, or what. But whatever it is, I think this is a great spot for that. Another septic field could drain and run out that direction. You can see there's a tree line almost back there. That is actually on our property. Our property extends past that tree line, and so the ground is going down towards that tree line. That tree line's a pretty major wash that runs right through the property, which is really nice. We know the water's flowing to that direction, and we know that that definitely gets wet around here during the summer monsoons coming off the mountain. So mom and dad in Florida, hey, I hope you like looking at that mountain in your backyard and this mountain in your side yard. So this is looking basically west. This here is looking due south. And then, excuse me, that was east over there, my mistake. And then this is looking west. There's more mountains off to the west, as you see. And then as I move around, eventually we get off to the north. And yes, there is mountains off to the north. So we kind of sit in a valley here. It's really, really nice, but I will say it's windy and it will get cold. But it's nice, the vistas, every direction you see mountain views and things. Let me zoom this out so it's not quite so bouncy there. So, okay. So I'm going to keep walking down. This is again just that trail that's going in and kind of around things that we cut so we have access and everybody can drive on. And I'll say this, the ground is great. We haven't done anything to it other than clear it and smooth it out just barely a little bit. Packs in perfect. I mean, it's so rock hard once it gets packed in. So great for building on, not so great for digging through, I will tell you that. So this right here is some A B-Mex I had brought in. It's really nice stuff. Man, it packs in hard as can be with no effort packing. I'm just saying driving the excavator on it. And this is like almost like hard as concrete in the places that it's. So you can see that it's hard below. It's not going to be anything that's going to give when we put that on there. So the 40-foot shipping container is going to get placed here, and we'll have a door right here at this end facing sideways. The container will run long ways that way, and then at that end facing that way will be the door, which is perfect because that's right across over this direction is where the house is going to be in all this clearing. So it'll be nice and close for all those materials and things. I did forget to show one more thing that we've done in this direction, and knowing that this is supposed to be the area hopefully for another residence for my in-laws, we have gone ahead, and since we are doing everything, put in this ditch. This will be a water main that will bring water down to this spot. So wherever we put a house in this area, there'll be water. Also, if I end up using any of this land over here for anything, we're thinking about maybe that area that we did clear out, we might throw some pigs in there. We're not sure. And of course, we'll have gardens and chicken space all through here in this middle section I've talked about. So having water right here, I can run lines over if needed, will be helpful. So this is the ditch that we have dug for that. Of course, there's no line in it yet. I have got all of the water line delivered. There's a whole pallet of 2-inch water line. That's 1,000 feet of it there. So that will be the main that'll run for that, and that's heading out to where the well's at. So go ahead and take you guys kind of out that direction now. Back over here to where the container's at. Sorry guys, this might be a long video from my channel. I don't post too many videos that are more than about 5 or 10 minutes, that's for sure. But it's a big piece of land, and we're only going to walk a little bit of it, and walking it's the only thing I have to do. So this here is the other side of that ditch that's dug. So this is where we put a bend in it. So there is the main that goes all the way out to where they're drilling the well. It'll come here and we'll likely branch off somewhere right around this bend to head straight over. If you look down there, you'll see my brother and my dad working. Well, my dad working. And that's where we're going to have the main services and stuff. So that's where the water will go in and everything. So we'll probably have a line that runs somewhere across here all the way to this ditch area to hook up to the water main. And then, of course, it will continue on down this ditch. That was the other end where I just was, where it can also go to that side of the property if we have stuff. And there's the pad for the container right there, so the water line will run right behind the container. Yeah, it'll be nice. It's perfect. So that's the direct route back to the well. This right here is the equipment of the well company. That's their big air compressor. And I've learned a lot doing this, and I'm going to learn a lot more. So subscribe and come along for the ride. Hit those notifications. This ain't going to be the most, let's say, informative like how-to channel. It's going to be more of a how did channel. This is how I did it. Maybe not how to do it, but this is how I did it. So anyways, that's a massive air compressor that they use for pumping down into the well to get the media that they're breaking and drilling apart out. It's a unique process, really. So as of yesterday, when these guys left, they had the well down to, I believe he said 540 or 550 feet deep. We're going to 600 feet. It's believed that the water line is somewhere around 480 to 500 feet. And they say that this aquifer is going to drop on average over the last like 20 years or 25 years. It's dropped something on average like 4 inches a year. So I figured that is 3 years for 1 foot of drop. So going 100 feet past the water, that equates to 300 years of water based on that. So I figured, even if, let's say, that really gets out of whack and goes to where it's dropping a whole foot per year because of whatever reason, well, that's 100 years worth of water. So I guess that'd be my kid's problem. But here's the other end of that ditch that comes all the way to here. We've stopped it here because we didn't want to be in the way of the guys are still working and digging here. But what we'll do is when they're done, you can see the location of the well there. We'll put tanks and a pump house and everything right in this area, and then tie into that water line to feed. So what I think we've decided to do, it's not for sure yet, but we're going to set up on a solar pump, just so I don't have to run wire and stuff out here, and it makes us a little bit more off-grid, which the plan is to be fully off-grid very soon. I mean, if we can, day one, but I'm not so sure we'll be able to do that. So we are bringing in electricity from the city so that we can be approved for our loans to get a mortgage to finish building this place. We've brought a good deal of our money up front, but only about half of what we need. And so we're getting a mortgage. This isn't a full off-grid build or a full debt-free build by no means. So there'll be a solar pump that brings the water up into tanks, and then from those tanks that will feed a pressure pump that will bring pressure to the house. And that will give us water storage, so if anything ever goes wrong, or let's say the sun doesn't shine for a day, which is pretty rare around here, we will have water storage. We'll also be able to hook up anything to a battery or a generator, so in the event that for whatever reason we don't get, let's say, sun for a week or two, I can hook something up and still pump water out. We'll never be left without even just a battery to do that. And it can fill the tank, so we're going to put a small pump on there, so when the sun comes up, it can basically pump all day long and never turn off. And then at night when the sun goes down, it'll just turn off, or when the tank gets full, and it won't really come back on. So we won't have a lot of start and stops. It'll start, it's going to run for a long time, and then it will stop, and our tank will be full, and that's where our water will come from. So we'll have storage reserves, and we'll be fairly off grid. But they did have to switch over to mud drilling. It's kind of a neat deal. They're able to even reuse and recycle the mud that comes out. So here's what that looks like. There's the drilling going on right there, and what they do is they pump water and mud and down there, and what that does, it reinforces the walls of the well so it's not caving in as they drill. And then what they'll do is at the end, once the pipe sleeves get in there, they'll push water and compressed air down the hole to push all that mud up and out of the hole, and then we'll have a nice clean well with the sleeves already in there, so nothing can cave back in on us. But while they're drilling, all the mud comes up and out, and it runs down this ditch they've dug into this hole, and then they mix more water in. That's what this hose is, which makes it kind of a liquidy slurry. Hanging from this tripod here is a submersible pump that pumps the mud, and he says that can pump up to a 3-inch round aggregate. That is really big to go through a pump, I feel like, but like a tennis ball. It's crazy. And it'll pump through the hose, and it goes up onto this machine, which is pretty neat. This machine has a couple of vibrating screens. That's what, ooh, that's muddy. That's what these things are right here. They're vibrating screens. So the liquid comes out of those red nozzles on top of the screens, and the screens vibrate out all the media down to here. And this is the rock that is being busted apart and pumped up through the slurry up to the surface, and the screen separates out all that material, and it lands on the ground here, and the slurry is then pumped back into this truck, which then sends it back down the well to gather more material up and then back through the process. So it's kind of a neat deal how they can reuse that slurry by just cleaning out the ground out material. So that's all the material since they've been using the slurry, and then over here, this is all the material that came out before they were using the slurry. And I tell you what, guys, this is great crushed rock. almost an A-B mix, not quite, but material. We're going to use it to pad the bottom of our hole for the water lines, and then that way it'll compact in around the water lines real good. We'll be able to have nice big trucks drive on it. We've dug that hole 2.5 feet deep, so it's never going to freeze that deep, never here. Even if it was, you know, froze every day for a month, it wouldn't freeze that deep here. And then on top of that, with this compact material around the piping, we'll be able to have large vehicles drive across that, no problem, anytime we ever need. So if one of my kids is building a house out there, we can have concrete trucks go across this once it's completely filled in and done the right way, which we're going to do thanks to all this free material that's coming out through the well. So these guys aren't here yet, which is a good thing, because I can come out here and talk, and it's not like insanely loud, because it's pretty loud. They got a whole nother big truck that backs in here full of water, because they're using a lot of water to go through this system. So anyways, yeah, off that way, that's all more of our land. And there's no snow on the mountain today, but we've already had snow on the mountain this year, and we're only a week into November. And then when I was out here in March doing the gate, there was snow on that mountain. So I imagine we'll see snow here from time to time, which is great, because coming from Washington State, you know, we've kind of gotten used to playing in the snow just a little bit. I mean, it doesn't snow a lot in Western Washington where we're from, but you know, it's nice to get away from that and have sunny weather. Even when it's cold, it's a little cold today, but it's sunny and just beautiful. I mean, look at this, the clouds, even when they're out, they're like fluffy. They look like giant pillows up there, cotton balls that you can just grab and pick out of the air. It's great. All right, moving along. So here you can see land we haven't touched. Wow, that's pretty clear. A lot of grass, wild grasses in there. And this is a free range cattle area, and so we don't have a back fence. Cattle could absolutely come roaming into our area, and we certainly see evidence that they do from time to time, although we have not seen any cattle ourselves anywhere near our land yet, anyways. And so that gate we had to put in was approved and permitted through the Department of Transportation here in Arizona, because that barbed wire fence is meant to keep the cows off of the highway. And so if we cut that fence, it has to be done to a very specific specification. You know, it's got to be pulled tight and installed the right way so that cows will not be able to get through it and get onto the highway, causing, as you can imagine, a potentially very, very dangerous situation. So all right, moving along. So this is all what we've cleared as well. This is all where the house is going to sit, right here. So where this big blue trailer is and all this open area, this is actually where the house is going to sit. I'm probably standing pretty well near the end of our house. And over there, again, while they're working, my brother's digging a hole where we're going to put up the pole for temporary power. That's the ditch I dug yesterday for the power, and my dad is just scrubbing out more mesquites, so that when it's time to put the geothermal loops in, that's where they are going to go. Okay, this right here is that whole area that the road goes around, and so we think it'll come around here toward the front, and then you will be in front of our house right in this area with the house right here, and then beyond that will be a little bit of pasture, and it's not going to be huge area there where the chickens will live, and then back over right by here is where you would turn around that to go back to the gate, which I think you can see right over there, that white car top right there. So we can see the gate from the house, but there's definitely mesquite trees that block the highway. And I don't know if you guys have heard, but I think only like 2 cars have gone by on the highway in the, let's see, 20 minutes or so I've been making this. So it's certainly not busy. Coming this way, that's going to be, again, more the backyard. The pool will be somewhere around that big snag pile or just behind it. We haven't cleared any main area for the backyard yet. That's after the house is built. And then this area we cleared back for the geothermal loops, because we knew we were going to have to dig loops there. So it looks like I'm going to have about, I think it was 2,700 feet of geothermal loop line that's got to go in. And so it's, I think, eight lines, 4 that go out and then 4 that come back to loop around this area. So that's why that is all cleared out. Unfortunately, I was off by a little bit with the measurements when I was trying to figure out exactly where the power was going to go. And we have since had the power company out here, which I want to say, guys, living down here, everybody is so amazing. You need help, you know, the county, the power company, they're helpful. You call them, they give you answers. They'll come out and do site inspection and give you clear for sure answers. So I've just been so grateful to work with the county down here. This is Cochise County. So here's the power line that I've dug in. You can see the flag down there at the end, maybe. Yeah, you can see it there. That is where the county is going to put in their pole. and that's going to be a slack line pulling across the highway from that power pole, and then we're going 210 feet or so underground. Actually, yeah, and that's going to come, it will eventually come straight. So right now that is curving, but that is going to come straight and meet up right over here where this little pathetic looking flag is in the ground. Looks like it's been stepped on. That's okay, we'll affix that much better. This is going to be the permanent position of the power. And so what we've done is brought it straight as much as we can, and then it's curving over to a position that is the same length. So when pulled back straight, it's going to end right here. And that is so that we can build the house. So that is going to be one side or one corner of the house. The house is going to run in that direction, a little bit in that direction, and then off at an angle into this direction that we've cleared. And this will be kind of my parents' side, and then a 3-car garage, and then the main house right here is how it's going to work. So the garage and my parents' in is going to come off kind of like a 45-degree angle from the rest of the house, which is just going to go straight that way. And so that's the way all this clearing is working. And so what we're doing right now is we've just got this ditch dug for the power line. We're digging the hole. As soon as I'm done with this video, my brother probably can't wait for me to be done with this video, but as soon as I'm done making this, I'll be over here helping them dig this hole that this enormous 4x6 post is going to go into to hold up our 400 amp service box, which is a lot, but we wanted to do a lot. It's definitely 2 homes, all electric out here. I didn't want to bring out any gas of any kind or have to have propane delivered or nothing. And so they're going to be all electric homes. We're hoping to go solar right away. I mean, if we can, but if not, you know, within a year or two, full solar. So we will be completely off grid with septic, well, and solar for power. And that's what we want. We want that before anything gets too crazy. We're definitely a little concerned about the world view, the way things are at this time. I mean, I go to the grocery store, and whether it's meat or eggs or, you know, anything, the shelves are like half full at best, sometimes nothing at all to choose from. And we just want to get to a point where we can raise as much of our own, you know, produce and veggies, and we want to have fruit trees. We're going to have an orchard. In another video, unfortunately, guys, I'm no editing person. I don't know that stuff. I'm not good with it. You have to fast forward through these things. But in another video, I'll show with my phone our house plans, and you know, just some other information about what we're doing, what we're hoping to achieve. We want to put in a small event venue, maybe. We're not sure exactly. We're thinking maybe small wedding events. Also maybe like a produce stand where we sell our fresh fruit and vegetables. You know, maybe eggs. Who knows, maybe one day we'll get into selling some meat, but meat is just going to be, you know, for us. We're just trying to homestead. We're not trying to make anything commercial here. We did make the house a 1-story house for a couple of reasons. Main one being we want to age in this house, and we want all of our generations to age in this house. So we want it to be easy to live in and operate at any age. So everything's going to be put in to be as low maintenance and easy as possible, as few bills as possible. That's why we want to go solar and everything. We really just want to live kind of off grid and on our own, and not really have to go to town for anything. We do live a ways from town, so we're thinking maybe like a Costco run to Tucson once a month, and then that would be it as far as our shopping. Everything else we'd have from the land. So here we are back at the gate, guys. This was a long one, but I wanted to give the walkthrough. I wanted to introduce you kind of to what we're doing here, what our plans are. We want to, you know, we want to green the desert. It's already looking really green right now because it's here in November, early November, after the monsoons all summer. We've had an amazing monsoon season, and so it's been really, really wet out here. So everything's really green and growing well. But we're going to put in some larger trees, bring in some shade. We don't know exactly what yet, something fast growing, native and strong in this area. And we're hoping to use that for shade and windbreak. And then we're going to put in berm and swells, because obviously we know it gets very, very wet out here. I mean, no matter where you're walking and looking, you can find pathways like this that you can see. That is obviously where water runs when the rains come in thick, and they just, you know, the water cuts and blazes its path right on through. And then you can see where we have now interrupted that. It's still a bit of a low point. I've tried to keep the ground the same, so, you know, during construction the water can still flow. You know, this is kind of a low spot I'm stepping down into here across, and it does look like I got to get some trees and snags out of here, but you can see it does keep going back there where the gravel is at. So this is a, you know, there's so many little places like this where the water's running through. So we're gonna do some berm and swells to direct the water away from areas that, you know, we don't want flooding, or anywhere near our house, of course. Oh no, it's rush hour. Oh no. And then also potentially putting in a year-round pond. We're thinking maybe even ducks at some point would be kind of cool to have, especially if we didn't have to use the well for pond water, and have year-round pond that would stay. But getting back to the house and the one story, one was of course to age and keep it easy, no stairs, wheelchair accessible, all that type of stuff. So no matter what condition people get into, we can finish out our time in a safe place that we're happy in. But also a large roof span. So it's going to be really, really big. Between the two residences, it's around 4,300 square feet of livable space, all under a Rambler style roof. And we are going to put a metal roof up that will collect rainwater. And so that'll be the bulk of what we're using. The bulk of what we're using for irrigation and animals and things, our garden spaces, will be the rainwater. And so we won't be using our well for that stuff, as long as we have big enough storage tanks to collect that. But having a massive roof span will allow us to collect as much rainwater as we can possibly collect during the monsoon season. And hopefully that will be enough to get everything done for us throughout the year without irrigating or using our well. So like I said, guys, come along for the ride. It's just going to be kind of fun to watch. I'm going to share the ups and downs. You know, this is a lot for our friends and family back home to follow along, so we don't have to update everybody individually, see the progress, know how things are going. So, you know, we miss all you guys. We can't wait to finish this and have many of you come down and visit and see what it turned into, see what we've done. But in the meantime, stay tuned to this channel. You know, like I said, I'd love it if you'd subscribe and turn that notification on so that you get notified when I do update. I don't have a regular schedule. Things are going to be kind of spotty as things happen, and there are things to update on. I will try to do lots of shorts and small updates regularly about things that happen. But as far as long videos like this, it's not going to be a normal thing. And again, it's not going to be a how-to. It's just going to show what we're doing and how we're doing. A full ICF house on geothermal with solar is the goal here. And so, yeah, that's the plan. So I hope that you guys come back and keep a watch on this channel and watch our desert dreams come alive. And maybe at some point in time, you know, we can expand out and help some other people's desert dreams happen as well, as whether it be, you know, wedding events or sharing food and produce we make, or who knows, maybe this channel will inspire some people to go out and do it themselves. I'll get more in depth with finances and how we're doing this. There's a lot more, you know, low cost ways of doing this. We're fortunate enough that we have some money from selling our properties, and also my wife is able to work full-time from home. So getting remote like this to find cheaper land helped out. So anywho, yeah, stay tuned, keep watching along. We can't wait to see how this unfolds, and I look forward to reading your comments. I'll respond to everything, so don't hesitate to ask questions or leave encouragement. I'm definitely going to need it along the way, guys. I'm an amateur. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm going to do the best I can. So thanks again. God bless, and stay healthy, stay safe, everybody. Thank you so much.